And this is a flight of B-17s that came in. And we never liked B-17s because they took so much gas. And as far as I could see, really didn't contribute very much. That's a personal opinion, but they came in fairly frequently, and they took so much gas that my understanding is that finally General Geiger told them to get out and stay out and don't come back till he had some supplies for them. Of course, for 1942, they were tremendous airplanes, huge things. And we couldn't understand how they could fly. They were so big. I think one time we had 6 or 8 of them on the field at one time. Still not paved, of course. We had some Marston matting and some crushed coral and mud and dirt and so forth. And, of course, that black dust was quite coarse. It could get in the engines and cause all kinds of problems. Of course, the more planes we had on the field, the better, more tempting a target it was for the Japanese. And they came over most days about noon. They didn't vary much because they came from Rabaul, which was the extreme end of their range, and they'd have to take off at dawn, fly 6 hours, drop the bombs, fly 6 hours back. If they're lucky, get there before dark. There are no lights on the runway, of course. So the time of the raid didn't vary very much. We often had 2-3 hours advance warning from coast watchers up at Buka and New Georgia. So usually we could get the planes in the air and have the field pretty well defended from the air by the time the planes arrived. Well, let's get these B-17s out of here. We really didn't care much having those around. They're great fellows and wonderful airplanes, but we couldn't feed them. Admiral Nimitz arrived the end of October, gave out some decorations. There's General Vandegrift standing next to him. And I'm sorry to say I don't remember the names of most of these people. General Rupertus, Colonel Edson, the Raider Battalion, of course, if you're the photographic officer, you can get yourself in the picture sometimes, even if you don't win a medal, which was convenient. And I worked myself in, and the family saw the picture back home and rushed down and with everybody to see the newsreel. There's Carl and Foss. And Gaylor. The 3 top aces of Guadalcanal. I'm not sure which is which. This was one of the more successful bombing raids by the Japanese. They kind of snuck in on us that day and dropped a lot of bombs, made a lot of smoke, blew up one of the work hangars, but it was much more of a show to look at than it was in regard to damage. We rolled the gasoline out and got that out of the way, out in the open, the ones that we could save. Saved a couple of planes that were partly damaged. A few of them were really completely destroyed. But within a few hours it was back in operation. This is our tent after it was hit by a bomb. We were hit 2 nights in a row. Boom, boom. Fortunately, we're not in the tent at the time. We had had some warning. Division Hospital. Casualties in Guadalcanal were for the most part, medical. They were diarrhea, dysentery, malaria, dengue fever. Most of the wounded we flew out to bases farther south. Antibiotics, of course, were in extremely short supply and relatively new at that time. But what equipment we had, we made full use of. One and only refrigerator filled with antibiotics. Prayer service. Now we're on the way. And this is only one battalion, but boy, it looks like the whole Marine Corps. They're moving from the center of the area out to toward the Guadalcanal. There's Colonel Puller leading the way right there. This is right near the Lunga River, and then they go through some open terrain, and I knew they were coming, and I knew which way they were going, so we got up very high and set up the cameras and just waited. And we ended up with quite a show. Now, this looks like the whole Marine Corps. Actually, it's one battalion. The high, open country. There is quite a lot of that in Guadalcanal. This is not far from the Guadalcanal. So that's the story. This is the one and only shipment of film that got back safely. That's all we have from Guadalcanal, 1940.